I know everything I went through was to make me stronger. As I grew older, my experience had made me wiser. Yeah, I know God gives us hardest battles to his strongest soldiers. I ain't folding 10 toes.
Good day, YouTube. Now that you saw the intro, I must let you know that in today's video, I will be reacting to Abba and Preach before they were famous. I've seen this channel before. They was doing it on celebrities like Wiz Khalifa. They did one on Logic and stuff like that. But I was actually, I got a haircut, by the way. I was actually out and about yesterday, and I saw this video pop up. So I'm like, I know that they're famous on YouTube, but what were they doing besides them being on YouTube and being comedians? I want to see where this actually started. So if they do another one on like members of OTV, I'll watch those individually. But Abba and Preach, I got to see where they got their start from. Because the only thing I know is that they're comedians and they've been on YouTube for a while. So it's good to get the start. So without any delay, so without any further, no, that's not what I'm supposed to say. So we're going to watch this right now. So without any further delay, let's press play. I can't believe that I actually messed that up. Yeah, a week feels like a month, honestly.
Cool, fine, there's no problem with that. Now on though, your black ass better never straighten your hair.
Today we got some good old Canadian boys and I'm happy to see it. Here we go. Before they become one of the most controversial comedic duos on all of YouTube, well, the content creators known as Abba and Preach, well, they were born on April 30th, 1990 and February 18th in 1984 respectfully. Now as the oldest of the two, well, Preach's real name is Erich Etienne and he hails from a Haitian stock. Now in point of fact, well, his parents, they immigrated to Canada from Haiti and then settled into Quebec to raise their son. Now all the while, well, they made sure to teach him to be proud of his Haitian culture and roots.
I say that I'm going back to Haiti for the first time. I'm going back to the Haitian roots that I had.
But it wasn't all fun and games for Erich, who growing up, as much as his parents wanted him to celebrate his heritage inside the safety of their own home, when it came to assimilating with his new Canadian identity, well, they encouraged him to fit in as much as possible. Now, he once told the Metro Journal, growing up, if I wanted to see something that looked like me, I had to go to the English side. So rather than watching French language programs such as Watatatao, like the rest of the kids in his age group, I hope I pronounced that correctly, by the way, well, Erich, he preferred to enjoy the comforts of American television series like The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and Hanging with Mr. Cooper. Meanwhile, Abba Atlas was having his own origin story with his family hailing from Ethiopia before moving to Ottawa and then settling in Montreal. Now Abba, he was undergoing many of the same struggles Erich was, but in a different kind of way. Now Abba's mother came to Canada from Eritrea almost 3 decades ago, and ever since then, well, she's toiled away as a hotel housekeeper to make ends meet for Abba and his 4 siblings. Now, during his difficult teenage years, well, Abba dabbled in drugs and alcohol. Now, afterwards, well, he...
Interesting. I mean, don't get me wrong. I remember Abba saying that it was crazy in Ethiopia, but I didn't know he dabbled in drugs. Okay. So that's something new that I didn't know. And I did watch the Jumper podcast when he was on, and if I remember correctly, he said that he was born in Canada and he moved to Ethiopia as a kid and then he came back. Now, it made me think, if his mom is in Ethiopia, it's like, did she... When he said it, it's still confusing. It makes me think, well, his mom, the military. I forgot he was in the I think his family was in the military. I know he was in the military, but being born in Canada and moving to Africa, then coming back to Canada, I don't know how that worked, but he did say that on the Jumper podcast when he was on. So it's just interesting. That's actually what I want to see if that's actually true.
He joined the Canadian military against his parents' wishes, and he wound up leaving his family behind at the age of 18. Now, when he finally resurfaced about 2 years later and reconnected with his family, well, ABBA's mother greeted him with a smile, food, and a total lack of acrimony, despite his years of neglecting her and the rest of his family. Now, it was at that moment that he realized once and for all how important family is, and an epiphany that came at just the right time, because months later, well, his father passed away unexpectedly at the age of just 56. Now, this loss it forced.
Yeah, he actually mentioned that in the there's a video where he went on I think it was a trip, and he invited a young lady, and that's when she started, like, she was drunk, I guess, and he recorded her and the stuff that she said about his dad, and she was saying that ABBA was the way he was because his dad passed away, or his dad wasn't in his life, but she didn't know that his dad had passed away. For those that don't know the video that I'm talking about, I will link it in the description box so y'all can watch it for yourselves. But yeah, he also mentioned, here's something that he mentioned I remembered. They were walking around because so he has sleep apnea. And he was talking about it in that same video where the girl said, "Oh, your dad wasn't around. That's probably why you act the way you do." Not her words exactly, but he said that he had sleep apnea. So she didn't get any sleep because he was making too much noise. And he actually had to do some extra work at the cafe because he was doing his little comedian thing. And he let her like sleep in so she could sleep well. And I remember this part right here. This might sound a little crazy, but it was said in the video, so I can say it. He said he went to the doctor to see what's up with his sleep apnea, and the doctor said that ABBA makes the sound. It sounds like he's performing fellatio on someone when he sleeps. Not saying that he actually does it, but the sound alone. Again, I'll link the whole vid in the description box so you can watch it fully. It's a whole video, but I remember him saying that in the video. So yeah, okay, that makes sense. But I knew about the sleep apnea, but I didn't know it was that bad.
ABBA to re-examine his own life and commit to a number of very important changes. Now, for starters, he swore off drugs and alcohol and then took up new hobbies to keep himself busy, including dance. Now, he also decided to reward his mother for everything she had sacrificed for him. Now, while still in the military, ABBA, he began saving every penny of his $30,000 salary so that he could help his mom pay down her mortgage, a task made easier by the fact that he was living rent-free in a barracks, which would also help keep food costs to a minimum. He then presented his mother with a check on April 30th, 2013, his 23rd birthday, and he filmed the entire thing. Now, the video of that memorable moment, it would become the very first clip that ABBA ever uploaded to YouTube, and it went very wild. I mean, the thing earned him 1.6 million views in just 4 days. Now, that's something that wound up taking ABBA very much by surprise, and he told the National Post around the same time. When I put it together, I didn't think it would blow up like this. I'm humbled by the response, and I think it's good that positive energy is going everywhere. Now, he has since actually made that video private, but just as ABBA was finding his footing over on YouTube, Preach, he found himself being encouraged by comedian Mike Ward to begin performing stand-up material of his own on stage at the Bordel Comedy Club, where he also occasionally worked as a bouncer. Now, once he began generating some genuine laughs from the stage, Preach was hooked on comedy, and his journey towards becoming one half of YouTube's most popular comedy duos, well, it was practically inevitable. Now, after posting Dear Mother to YouTube in 2013, the next video ABBA uploaded was an extremely controversial take on dating and heightism. In particular, how a man's height...
Yes, I remember this. But I wonder if they should make a part 2. They really should. because I saw this vid and I'm like, yeah, this is like when I fully started understanding that height was a thing. Because I won't lie, in high school, I was never aware of it. Like, I'm aware that, yeah, I've had some really tall friends, but I would have never guessed that height was a requirement. So when I got out of high school, I actually started hearing about this, and I'm like, damn, okay. So it's almost like you look back in life. It's like the things you know now, I wish I'd have known then. But yeah, height is a thing, and it's a requirement. I don't know why that is, but I mean, it is what it is. Can't complain about it. 'Cause the people that want, like the women that want tall guys, and I'm going to go ahead and say it, I'm assuming that all women's preference is a tall guy. Some of them may not get that tall guy, but I think it's all women's preference to have a tall guy at least. I mean, the 6'6" wouldn't exist. And I know the 6'6", they want a guy that's over 6 feet, 6 inches or more down there, a 600 horsepower car, 6-pack. He's got to be single for 6 months or longer. And I always miss the sixth one, the last one. What was the last one? I'll post it up here for y'all to see. But yeah, I know what the 6'6" are, but I always get stuck trying to figure out what. Oh, the sixth one, 6-figure salary, i.e. $100,000 or more. And I found this out a few years ago. So yeah, they want the 6-pack. The 600 horsepower car, you gotta be over 6 feet, gotta make 6 figures or more, gotta be single for 6 months or longer, and you gotta have 6 inches or more down there. So yeah, there's all the 6'6". But I think that's a general thing. I could be wrong, but yeah, I remember this video clearly. This video really put height in perspective when women are looking for mates.
Affects the choices women make. A video that wouldn't just become one of ABBA and Preach's most controversial creations, but their very first collaboration. Now these two, they met for the first time while attending one of their favorite shared pastimes, a dance competition out in Montreal. Now eventually ABBA's role in these events will evolve from participating in the contests to recording them on his camera. Now when Preach saw some of ABBA's earliest attempts at recapping these competitions online, well, he realized that ABBA had real skills behind the lens, and the two decided to team up.
He was entering a competition that I was DJing and filming the dance competition and doing like all the recaps of those dance competitions.
Now first ABBA, he helped Preach shoot a demo reel of his dancing abilities. After they both enjoyed that experience, well, ABBA suggested Preach he show up in the aforementioned Heightism YouTube video, which officially marked the first appearance of ABBA.
I might have to actually watch some of the dance stuff, because there's a video that ABBA and Preach made where a woman was going after ABBA because he called her a bitch, and she was just saying, she's like, I saw your dancing videos, ABBA, dance for us, as if she was trying to I don't think it was the right time for him to start dancing, so he called her a bitch, but it was crazy, and she started flipping. And Preach was reading off the messages. That was too funny. I was dying when I saw that video.
ABBA and Preach. Even though technically speaking, well, Preach, he was just an extra on ABBA's channel. Now once that video went viral, well, both men, they decided to team up officially and continue producing content while opening up a dialogue between the English and French-speaking sides of Quebec. Now when asked to discuss the reasoning behind their decision to embrace multiple languages in much of their content, well, Preach, he told the Metro Journal, and I agree with this, "We make our videos in English because we want to open up to the world and to the possibilities of a market larger than Montreal. In the same way that Celine makes makes her music in English. She releases an album every 5 years in French, but she makes most of her cash in English, and not even here, but in the States. Now, over the course of the next 4 years, while ABBA and Preach, they would push the boundaries of political correctness and touch upon a number of controversial subjects, which helped take their content to the next level. Now, where other comedians might be afraid to tread thanks in large part to a fear of backlash, well, ABBA and Preach have no such qualms. Now, whether it's conversations on relationships, sex, or racism, well, the bottom line is nothing is off limits for these two men. And the way they see it, well, these types of hard truths are often necessary for the public to hear. Now, ABBA, he told the Metro Journal, sometimes people in our community are shocked by what we say. Truth touches people in really sensitive places, and even if it hurts, it is often necessary. Now, one clear-cut example of this is the duo's opinion on the alleged possibility of the next James Bond being transformed into a black woman. Now, while many in the media see this as a potential win for diversity, well, ABBA and Preach see it very differently. Now, informing their audience that there's nothing genuine about this decision and that it basically amounts to nothing more than Hollywood attempting to sell you diversity. Now, as far as they're concerned, well, fake diversity is a false type of product.
Producers, imagine having samples that make you react like this. Okay, wait. Hang on.
Progress. Preach continued to tell the Metro Journal, I don't want to work on a show where I'm just a checkbox. If I'm not here for my expertise, but because I fill a quota, it's insulting. I don't want to be the black on duty. It's disgusting. I refuse to be that. Instead, we turn to our communities and do our own thing. Well, it turns out doing their own thing, it would turn them into social media superstars. Now, for those of you who are a bit more apolitical, well, you could always check out ABBA and Preach's less controversial material that they also post regularly on YouTube. Now, I'm mostly referring to the reaction videos, which is a style they've pivoted towards around 2020 and began embracing more and more while focusing on YouTubers and comedians like PewDiePie, Sneeko, and Mr. Beast, as well as other lesser-known creators with viral clips. Now, that same year, Will Preach, he took a major life step forward and reconnected with his Haitian roots for the first time in his life by traveling to Haiti and shooting a film that was co-directed by ABBA. Now, when they both returned from that...
Now, I remember seeing Preach, like, on a podcast, and people was calling him fat. I'm like, Preach is not fat. That man is muscular. So it was funny, like, seeing him on the podcast and then hearing that. I'm like, bro, that man is just all muscle. Like, I don't know if he goes to the gym in his spare time, but I'm pretty sure that's all muscle. I could be wrong, but that's just my opinion.
Game-changing experience. Well, the following year, ABBA and Preach set their sights on a social media agency known as Jubilee, whose content they considered to be harmful towards everyone in society. This is hilarious. Now, that feud, it would carry on for much of the year, with Jubilee even going so far as releasing their own video criticizing ABBA and Preach for bullying them. Now, today, ABBA and Preach, well, they continue to unleash their one-of-a-kind takes on culture and society, and thanks to all of the experience they've occurred over the last 7 years, or maybe even 8 years, well, they're getting more popular each and every day, which means they'll probably never stop making enemies with other content creators who takes they simply don't agree with. Now, will one of these two, or even both of them, wind up saying something that there's no coming back from? Well, I'm sure it's only a matter of time before someone at least tries to come gunning for their crown. But whoever does, they better be ready, because in all likelihood, well, ABBA and Preach, they'll tear their argument apart, right? I wouldn't mess with these guys. I'm telling you, you're famous. No qualms, boys. We're all good here, right? I love what you're doing. Anyways, before we wrap up, I have a question for you guys. With how split society is these days, would you rather get your takes on culture from traditional sources like cable news, or do you believe YouTube or TikTok offers a more genuine perspective? Sound off in the comments down below. I know I've been watching a lot of TikToks about the Canadian economy, and let me tell you, you won't be hearing this stuff on the news. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. My name is Michael McCrudden, and I'll see you guys in another video. Also, sometimes we roll a previous upload at the end of a new upload, so enjoy the next video you're about to watch.
Yo, bro, wake up. Wake up. What? Bro, it been 3 hours since you get your sandwich. Oh, why are you sleeping? Oh. Go get your sandwich. Make your sandwich. Go get it. Go make your sandwich. Yo.
Before Kai Cenat would team up with YouTube collective AMP.
Alright, in today's video, we will be escaping prison.
Before Kai Cenat would also establish his own highly successful solo YouTube channel.
I got one thing to say. Welcome to my YouTube channel!
Before Kai Cenat would have over 343,000 followers on Twitter, 1 million followers on Instagram, and nearly 2 million subscribers.
Okay, I'm gonna react to Kai Cenat next week because I know he blew up on Twitch. I remember seeing a clip of him in a party or something like that, and at the bottom of the screen there was like a sub counter going, and then when it hit 1 million subs, it went crazy. It was either 1 million subs or 100,000. But I think I'm gonna just go ahead and watch this. I think they ended it for Abba and Preach, but now they're just gonna show the previous clip for Kai Cenat. So if that's the case, I'm just gonna leave it here because I only wanted to see the Abba and Preach part. I will see you guys in the next video, but I have a few things to say. Continue spreading peace, love, and positivity because life is too short for any and all negativity. And always remember, slow progress is better than no progress. This has been Dante Brown, and I am out.
On everything, commas and diamonds all up in my chain. Down at the bottom, came up in the game. Bottles and models all up in my face. Commas and diamonds all up in my chain. Dollar by dollar on everything.